Hey everybody, Nava Hopkins here with a very special Learn with Optmyzr. Today we are going to dive into all things Amazon with their local ads, including how to set up an Amazon account right through the Optmyzr dashboard. Whether you're Google, whether you're Microsoft, whether you're Meta, the Amazon solution presents a lot of really great value. Now, before I dive into the mechanics, I just want to talk a little bit about why I and Optmyzr are so excited about Amazon. These audiences are second to none. The ability to target someone based on their Amazon Garage service schedule, the beauty products they buy, the Amazon Prime content they watch, these are some really powerful signals. There's a lot of great value in being able to marry your services on the Amazon interface as well as the Amazon Partner Network, which includes Twitch and IMDb. Without any further ado, let's dive into setting up our Amazon account as well as going through the mechanics of the non-endemic or Amazon locals ads. So the very first thing to note is that we're going to actually scroll down on our individual account dashboard to create an Amazon ads account. Now the reason why this is so helpful is that we at Optmyzr actually simplified the account creation process, and through our relationship with Amazon are able to get a much faster approval process and verification process than if you were to do this on your own. Now, that's not to say that will always be true. Of course, if you want to go directly to Amazon, get set up, please do. But if you're an Optmyzr customer, this is just a nice handy dandy tool. So we're going to go ahead and create an Amazon account. So we're going to use my Optmyzr email and we're going to authenticate. And we're taken here to sign in. Click continue. And I already had this set up. You obviously can create an Amazon account if you so desire. Click allow. And now we are taken back to the dashboard to continue working on our Amazon account. Now you can see here that we have that authentication successful. We're now going to name our account. It's very important that you're honest whether you're an advertiser or whether you're an agency. So for the account name, we're going to call this Nava Hopkins LLC, which is an actual entity. It's very important that remains true. You'll notice that I cannot change the United States. That's because this is currently only available in the US. However, please share with Amazon and with Optmyzr if this is interesting to you and that you want to actually go ahead and create these ads in different parts of the world. The more that Amazon hears that demand, the more countries it will roll out to. Next, when we're looking at our industry, you'll notice that there's business services and consumer services. 99% of you are going to fall into this. So a business service might be someone like a commercial real estate agent. It might be someone like junk removal for offices. On the consumer side, this is going to be more like a locksmith or a plumber, someone who is a hairdresser, things like that. Now, the next thing to note around these categories is that they are always changing. So please share that feedback, whether you don't see your category here. The more Amazon hears that you want to advertise through their platform, you want to take advantage of their amazing solutions, the more likely it is that you will start to see those verticals show up. The other really important thing to note about Amazon and Amazon targeting, because of the unprecedented types of targeting that you have through Amazon, the ability to target individual cars in the auto space, or the ability to target for particular injury, say for example as a lawyer or for a doctor, is limited. You are not going to be able to do that. However, you can advertise that you are a lawyer or you can advertise that you are a doctor. Why that distinction is important is that these ads allow you to, again, target in a very meaningful, powerful way. So you won't be able to, say, for example, target someone exactly who got into a car accident and is not at fault on a legal case. Or you won't be able to target someone who is looking for an OBGYN. You'll instead be able to target someone who is looking for a new family practitioner or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and choose business services for consulting, and we are now going to review the ads agreement. And I click that. I am taken to Amazon. I click accept and continue. I now go back to my dashboard, and we can check it's pending. Click refresh. I see that it's approved, and I can register the account. So the next step to consider is linking your account and billing. Because I would need to show you my credit card information, we're going to skip those, but I just want to show you the interface for linking your account within Optmyzr. It'll take a quick moment, and then you'll be able to link whichever accounts. You'll be able to see Amazon is there. So moving on, we're now going to talk a little bit about the actual mechanics of the Amazon ad type, looking at actually picking your audiences, setting up your creative, things like that. Now we're going to go ahead and move over into the campaign builder for Amazon. Now you'll notice that we are already on that sponsored display type. These ads are display ads, but they can serve with a lead gen type. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. And we're going to say that it is so we're going to do a Learn with Optmyzr test, and the start is going to be today. The end date will be, we'll call it 31st, and we'll put a budget of $10. Now, it's important to note that Amazon actually has a very useful role when it comes to bids and budgets. You cannot have a bid that would exceed 50% of that daily budget. So if you have an audience that you know is expensive and you want to include it, you're going to need to make sure that budget is at least double what you would want to bid for that audience. So for example, if someone wanted to target search engine marketing professionals, and they know that audience typically costs somewhere between, say, $5 and $6, you may decide that you want a minimum budget of $10 to $12. I would actually argue you probably want something closer to $50, $60, $70 so that you can get enough engagement in your day. And it's important to note that bidding can be done on a cost per click or a cost per milli or per 1,000 standpoint. Now, we're going to move forward and create an ad group. This ad group is going to be the profit and victory ad group. And for optimization strategy, we have reach, page visits, and leads. Now we're going to actually go ahead and pick the leads ad type. And it's important to note that just like Meta, Amazon needs to understand that you have a privacy policy. So for our locations, you can only target currently with Amazon. Excluding isn't really a thing. So say I wanted to target Boston. Now I'm given the option of targeting the DMA, which is going to be the grouping of, say, Boston and Cambridge and Alston and Brighton and all the other little suburbs in there, or I could target just the city. I'm going to go ahead and target the DMA so that I have that full location reach. And it is worth noting that they do give you a little bit of that info about what the DMA is. Next, we're going to scroll down and get to the good stuff, the audiences. Now, you can work off of purchase and views. So say, for example, you are a Amazon seller and you want to target off of people who have bought your products before or who have bought other products before. That absolutely is possible, but you also can do off of events. So for example, say we wanted to look at interesting categories and just see what's going on in terms of our categories. So now we have the different audiences. We'll be able to see what is that potential reach if we were to target all of our group with that audience type. So we see that there are 5 to 10,000 people. Remember, our budget is $10, so that budget of $1 is totally fine. If we wanted to say, for example, change that to $6, you'll see that you get that warning. So we're going to make that a bid of two. So say, for example, I wanted to not only target people who are interested in marketing and sales, but also people who have looked at books in marketing and sales. So I know that my customer is informed, they're educated, they want that additional information. So we would go ahead and add in that audience, or we could refine. So in terms of the refining, this is going to be based off of the products that meet these criteria. So if I only wanted to include people who showed interest in these products or who purchased products that had at least 5 stars or that cost a certain amount. So you can start to see how some of this data combined with the in-market data can be super, super powerful, because you can start to say, okay, I only want people who want the creme of the creme, or some people who are only willing to pay a certain amount for a product or service if you know that you're on the cheaper side of the cost spectrum. So this is just a nice way to get that additional information. So we're going to go ahead and add in those audiences. And you can see that these are or statements. So we are not going to be able to say that these are people who have all these traits. These are going to be people who have one of these traits. And what's interesting to note is that there are some in this group that have that 5 to 10K, but for the most part, these are pretty narrow audiences. That tells me that I can be super, super specific with my creative while still honoring the fact that I can't really lean into the sensitive topics. So the next step is creating the ad. So we're going to go ahead and use Optmyzr as our landing page. We're going to add in our various creative. Now, logo, headline, image, those have been present pretty much throughout. The call to action button is a newer feature for Amazon. It's definitely something that we on the Google, Microsoft, Meta, fill in the blank side are familiar with. And what's nice about this is that it really pushes that lead gen component. So we're going to go ahead and add in our logo. I just want to make sure that you guys can see the dimensions. But when it comes to our headline, I want to show you what happens as I'm typing versus the full headline. So the full headline, PPC insurance through automation layering, Amazon loves it. It's totally fine. It covers what we want it to say. But what's interesting is that you'll notice that I removed part of the headline, and Amazon does not want to serve ugly or inconsistent ads. So we're actually being told, check your grammar. So make sure that when you're working in the interface, you either have the full headline of what you plan to say, or just be mindful that Amazon will coach you as you're typing. Ultimately, as we know, the full headline, PPC insurance through automation layering, is totally fine. So now that we have our headline, we're going to move to the form. Now it's worth noting for this form, you do need to decide what you want the user to do and why they will want to give you their information. Email or phone number, it's a one or the other equation. And the other piece to this is whether you ask for the person's name. I highly recommend this because this will be a really powerful way to avoid getting spam leads through. When it comes to privacy, we want to make sure that we have our privacy policy ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and include the Optmyzr privacy policy, and we are all set. So it will be very tempting from here to click that launch campaign, but we need to scroll all the way back so that we can add in our visual creative. Now for our image, we're going to choose from our creative assets just so that we have something there. And we'll go ahead and pick this, and we can see the various visual creatives. Now, for your purposes, you likely will want to provide a custom creative that will fit into those dimensions. And I just want to make sure that you can see those specs again. So for image size, you want 1200 by 628 or larger. File size 5 megabytes or smaller, which should be a PNG or JPEG, and no text, graphic, or logo added to the image. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you can see that PPC piece. That technically is being seen as a graphic, so it should be okay. Where it gets a little bit trickier is if we had Optmyzr there. Let's go ahead and click back, and now we can launch our campaign. Now it's worth noting that this is going to be a display heavy ad. It is going to serve in spots that are display spots. So it's not like someone's going to be searching for your ad. But what is really special is that you'll be able to insert yourself in those conversations, i.e. on Amazon and through their really premium partner network, in order to engage folks that are already in that mindset of needing what you offer. So I hope you found it really helpful. We're very excited on the Optmyzr side to welcome Amazon's local ads into our suite of tools. We already support folks who sell on Amazon who want to advertise their products. Highly encourage you to check out all the amazing things that we do to help you achieve greater results with Amazon and with Google, Microsoft, and more. Thank you so much for investing a little bit of time with me. I hope you feel really empowered to leverage Amazon's local ads or their non-endemic ads. If you have any questions, any thoughts, definitely get in touch. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day and cheers on the path to profit and victory. Bye guys.